Just a little insane, I know, but I'm currently in the middle of 18 series. The last time I did this video where I'm like continuing series I'm in the middle of, I think my number was less than that, and it has gone up since. So the progress we made has been reversed, unfortunately. Okay, looking at my Goodreads list, all the series I'm in the middle of are Lakefront Billionaires, The Shards of Magic, Veronica Speedwell, This Woven Kingdom, Edge of Darkness, Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Scorched Throne, The Plated Prisoner, Bride, Windy City, Heavenly Bodies, Moonfall, Crowns of Nyaxia, Maple Hills, Crescent City, Boys of Tommen, Magnolia Parks, and Blood and Ash. I think that I have completed series since my last episode of this, but I've unfortunately started new ones, and so yeah, my number is now higher. But in this video, I am determined to lower that number from 18 to hopefully 15, 16. Let's cross our fingers. And the first step in doing that is finishing a very, very anticipated duology. And you guys saw me reading it a few minutes ago. That book is The Jasad Crown, which is the second book in the Jasad Heir series, but I think it's called something else. What did I just call it? The Scorched Throne duology. The first book, Jasad Heir, I read in April, and I got this book. I literally pre-ordered it because it came out July 15th. It came in the mail. When I opened this package, I was shocked at how big this book is in comparison. Book one is like 450 pages. This is like 670 pages. Like, this book is huge, but it's the end of a duology. And in my opinion, a duology is a perfect length of series because it's more than just a standalone. You get to stay with your characters a little longer. You get a nice cliffhanger at the end of book one, but sometimes a trilogy can be a little overwhelming, and sometimes book two in a trilogy can really drag. So with a duology, it's perfect. You get one awesome start, and then you get a second finale, and you're done, and it's perfection. So I want to finish this book, and in fact, I'm actually already a quarter of the way through it. I started listening to the audiobook yesterday, and it flew by so fast, and so I'm on page 170 right now, which is like 25% of the way through this book, and truly it is going so well. It is so good. I really enjoy the Jasad Heir. I give it 4.5 stars. It was such a good book, inspired by Egyptian mythology. It's fantasy with a little subplot of romance, such good plot. The characters are well developed. Like, there's so much good in that book. But after finishing it, you know, I loved it when I read it, but I haven't really thought much about it since. And then jumping back into the world in this one, I'm reminded, I was like, oh my gosh, Sarah Hashim can truly write. Her books are really good. I mean, this is only the second one I've read by her, but like, it's going by so well so far, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'll just kind of briefly talk about book one. So basically we follow our main character Sylvia, who lives in, I get all of the parts of the kingdom confused. I think it's Omal. Yes, Omal. She's very much living on the down low. Now Aaron, who is eventually going to be the love interest, is the heir of the Nizal crown. So basically they're like 4 or 5 different kingdoms, and Nizal is the biggest and most powerful, and he is the son of the king. And every couple of years, I suppose, they do this competition. Every kingdom chooses their own champion, but Nizal, because Nizal is such a largely powerful kingdom, they decide to choose their champion from a different one of the kingdoms, but they don't have an advantage because their guys and girls are so militarily powerful. So he chooses a champion, and he decides to pick Sylvia from Omal for specific reasons that I will not get into. And so they basically travel together, train together. She goes through the trials, and there are a lot of secrets and a lot of things being revealed, and a lot of tension between the love interest and Sylvia because they are very much enemies. And you find out more why, but I don't know if it's written on the back of book one, so I'm not going to say why, but there is a lot more hidden and secrets that get revealed that makes book one so amazing. Going into book two, again, to say without any spoilers, we pick up pretty soon after book one finishes, which I love when books do that, and all of our characters from book one are scattered across the kingdom. So we're following 4 different POVs, which is different than book one. I think book one was mainly Sylvia with a couple Aaron chapters. This one, we get Sylvia, we get Aaron, and then we get Sylvia's friends, Sepha and Merrick. And that's really awesome because I really love her friends, so it's great to see their point of views, but they're all in different places and they're all doing different things. And it's interesting to kind of flip back and forth between these 4 perspectives, these 4 separate plots, but I can see where Sarah Hashim is going. She's going to merge them all together really smoothly. And it's also really interesting to see, specifically with Sepha, where she was picked up in this book, what she's doing. I'm just like, ooh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be really curious to watch her. And then Sylvia and Aaron and their different sides of this like political battle, this kingdom in turmoil kind of thing that they're working with. Very much enemies, but I know that the enemies to lovers is going to be amazing in this. In book one, we kind of got a hint of lovers, but I want to tell you that it was so minor. They really pushed and dragged it all out to the very, very end. So I hope that the gradual push again in this book is just as satisfying. But yeah, quarter way through, this is going phenomenal. It's also so underhyped. If you haven't picked this book up or this series, you need to. It's literally only 2 books and they go by so quickly. The font is pretty big. The plot is paced so well. I feel like I'm never stopping. I'm never bored. And the first quarter has gone by. It's gone by so well. So this is book 1 for our vlog. My intentions are to finish at least 2 other books, hopefully, in this vlog and get quite a few series marked off of my list. So if I look at all the books, again, I'm in the middle of, or the series I'm in the middle of, Rewinded Back by Liz Humford is the last book in the Windy City series. That one would complete a series for me. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone is the last one that's out so far in Crowns of Nyaxia, so I'd be caught up to that series. Daydream in the Maple Hills series would finish my series. House of Flame and Shadow, this is a intimidating one, but this would finally complete the Crescent City trilogy, which I've been waiting to complete for over a year now. Anyway, all that to say, I'm hoping that we read some good books in this vlog. I hope that you're excited. I certainly am. I post new reading vlogs and book content every single Thursday. I was gonna say Saturday, that's my other channel. Thursday on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed, you definitely should. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the reading vlog. Hi, okay, so I know I haven't talked to this vlog in days. It's been a hot second. I've been so busy, but I currently have literally 20 pages left of Jasad Crown. This book, y'all, oh my God. I'm gonna save all my thoughts for a second. I just want to film my last reaction to the last couple chapters and the epilogue. In short, this is incredible. I read one sentence and I'm on the verge of tears. There's no way. Wake up so you can laugh with me. You're joking. That's what they were. Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh, I love him. Don't do anything stupid right now. We don't have enough pages left in this book to fix it. This is 10 times more complicated than I thought it was going to be, like literally 50 pages ago. I'm like a little bit in shock, I won't lie. My heart hurts, that's so sad. Oh my God, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, right? This is so, oh God. I'm gonna read you a quote. It says, "Why hadn't they told him that love was not a soft and gentle wind, but a storm determined to rip you apart and build its home in the wreckage? Maybe nobody warned him because they hoped they would never have to, because they knew someone's love, like everything else about them, was made to frighten. Maybe they understood that if it found them and they lost it, what would be left of them would not be worth salvaging." Give me like 2 minutes. Just finished this book. I'm so torn. I'm so torn. This was insanely good. There's so much that I want to say that's spoilery that I can't say. But like, there's also so much in this book that I had no clue Sarah was going to take it that far, and she did. And I'm just like shocked at the ending and the amount of emotions that was randomly pulled out of me. I want to give this a 5-star. I really do. I have like 2 tiny little problems with it, but like everything else in this book was done so well. And despite its length, I was hooked in so utterly completely for the entire time. I don't know if it's a 5-star or not. I don't know. But it was better than book 1 though. So maybe it is a 5-star? Truly and honestly though, I am so impressed by this author for their debut duology. This was absolutely incredible. The world that they built, I know it is created out of or inspired by Egyptian mythology, so there may be some like ideas that are already created through that. I'm not very familiar with Egyptian mythology, so I don't know exactly what's already been done before, but the world is so complex and the politics are so convoluted, and the history and the magic and the crime of magic mining, aka like taking magic and power from someone, which is completely illegal, and the way too that Aaron, the love interest, and Sylvia are like perfect matches for each other because they are so completely opposite, and the way that that ties in at the very end of this story. But I'm just like, you know, like the ending, oh my god, if you know, you know, like what was that? Why would they do that to us? Oh my god. The main qualms and problems I have with this book are just, I think, with the emotional connection with the characters. I mean, I love these characters, don't get me wrong, I love them so much, I feel so much for them, but I feel like Sarah Hashim did so well at like only giving us crumbs of like the romantic love, but also the platonic love. The romance between Aaron and Sylvia, we have so much of this book with them separated, so the parts that they are together, I'm just like eating it up so much, but also like I wanted a little more in the emotional connection, a little more of them together. And then also platonic love, like for example Sepha and Merrick together, they are best friends, they're so good together. I wanted 2 or 3 scenes of them together without Sylvia being there, like not necessarily like a they need to be alone way, but like when they first meet up for the first time in this book, at the very end, a couple more scenes I would have really appreciated, because so much of this book is about the politics and the plot, and I love that, to be honest. It was so engaging and intriguing to me, but like the only reason that's stopping me from giving it a 5-star is because I wanted just a hint more of love, of romance, of connection. But on the other hand too, I'm like, the plot was absolutely like mind-boggling. The plot just at the end, the way that it all pulled together, the emotions that I got actually yanked out of me in those last couple pages that I was not expecting at all. I'm really torn. And also I gave book 1 in the series 4.5 stars, but this was better than that, so I'm like, maybe this is a 5-star level. I'll have my final rating here on the screen so you will know, because future me will be able to rate this and tell you my final thoughts. Last thing I was thinking earlier too is that if you like Sarah J Maas, I feel like Sarah Hashim writes very similarly to her in the way that she creates her stories, the way that she paces her stories, because although it's again very, very long, the scenes go by so fast. They're cut very quickly, they're very short and sweet, but you get multiple POVs, you get lots of action, you get lots of depth. I guess just the way that she puts her words together, it just reminds me a lot of Sarah J Maas in like the best way possible, mind you. I love Sarah and I love this Sarah. So yeah, this was insane. Fantastic end to this duology. If you have not read it yet, this book is so underhyped. For the love of God, please pick up this duology. It is actually life-changing, like literally, it's so good. And I'm just like blown away. I'm incredibly impressed by this. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go and stop yapping about my very confused, obviously, thoughts. Let's skip ahead to the next book in this video, which I don't know yet what it's gonna be, but you will literally know right now. I go back to college in like 3 weeks and I'm still trying to find every possible filming angle in this house before I leave. I have updates on our next book in the series, which as you saw was Daydream by Hannah Grace. I'm on page 155, so I think I'm like 35% of the way through this book. I've been going back and forth between physical and audio, and it's honestly quite a short book, so I want to finish it today, but I don't think that's gonna happen because I have so much to do. If you don't know, on my other channel, Mango Studio, I'm like releasing stickers, and they should be out when you're watching this, but I like need to finish the stickers and get like the marketing up, and I also like was out super late last night, so it was a whole thing. But anyway, I'm trying to finish this one hopefully today. If you don't know, this is the second book, and actually the third book in the finale in the Maple Hills trilogy by Hannah Grace. The first one was Icebreaker, which is very, very popular, and then Wildfire, and I gave the first one 4 stars, the second one 3.5. Now when I started this book originally, I was like, I actually don't get it. I don't understand the hype. Not because I hated the book per se. I was just like really not in a contemporary reading reading mood. It's just been a hot second since I've read a rom-com besides Love Redesigned, which I really disliked. And I'm just like, there's 400 pages of just this lovey-dovey stuff. I know it was very out of character for me, but I was just like forgetting what it feels like to read just like a simple contemporary romance with no plot, well, plot, but low plot, just vibes, after coming off of that wind of Jasad Crown with like complete plot and brain-altering magic in that book. So it was definitely like me listening to the audiobook and her talking about like her baking, and I'm just like, really? You know? But I got my act together, and after a couple chapters, when Henry and Hallie, who are the two main characters, started to interact, I was like, oh, okay, I'm back. We've reset. We're back on this, and I was starting to really enjoy it. So the plot of this book, since the series is interconnected standalones, it's not a spoiler to say the plot. We follow Henry and Hallie. Henry is vaguely described as neurodivergent in all of the books so far. He's been like a side character, but it's not officially diagnosed anything. And the author actually said in the beginning that that was on purpose because she personally got her autism, and I think it's autism and ADHD. She got that diagnosis like 30 years into her life, and so she's trying to write about a character who's much younger and is experiencing those things but doesn't have like one specific reason. And so it's curious to watch them because I see a lot of myself in them, and it's interesting how Hannah's writing this book because we love Henry. I mean, both of them, but Henry I've known for all three books, right? I love him so much as a character. He's so lovable, kind, and compassionate for other people. But then also reading from his point of view and from Hallie's point of view, who also has a lot of anxiety, it's just that I can like see myself being like, yeah, I relate to that. And yeah, I understand completely what you're going through. The only thing I'm stuck at now is that this is a fake dating trope, and he's also getting kind of tutored by her with his English class, and he's helping her get more experience in the dating world because she just recently broke up from a long time, really annoying boyfriend. We've gotten to the point in the book, again, I'm like over a third of the way in, where they're very lovey-dovey. They are obviously very close. They've connected on a lot of things. Okay, they're not together yet, but I doubt it will take long. So what is the other 200 pages of this book gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we filling the rest of the book with if they're already like bestie boos and have a lot of romantic chemistry? So that's my one issue, I think, with contemporary romances. I will read 800 pages of fantasy plot and not get bored. But when I read a contemporary romance where practically nothing happens, they're going to hockey games, they're going to the pier, they're baking, whatever, you know, they're studying. But when nothing of real importance happens, I'm just like, why are we here for this long? So I want to listen to a lot of the audiobook today and hopefully get through that, but I also don't want to waste all of my Spotify hours. That's all I got for you. Actually, that's not true. I have one more thing. So that's this book. Now, last night I said I was out late and I was hanging out with my friends. We went to a bookstore yesterday, and once again, I forgot to vlog, but you'd be proud of me. I didn't buy anything. Crazy, I know, because I just did a huge book haul like a couple weeks ago. I've been trying really hard not to buy anything. So after purchasing the book in Chicago, I'm like stopping myself from purchasing any more books until I clear a lot more off my physical TBR shelf. And didn't buy a book, but I still walked out with a book because my friend was talking to me about Tower of Dawn, which, if you didn't know, is the second to last book in the Throne of Glass series. But personally, and I've stood by this for years, I'm not embarrassed to admit, I always skipped Tower of Dawn. I always did, because if you know, you know, the plot just at the end of the book before was too diabolical for me to read an entire 700-page book about a separate character who I did not give two shits about and then resolve the cliffhanger in the next book. Like, that is too long for me to wait. So I always skipped Tower of Dawn. But I was going to do a Throne of Glass reread this year, and I've eventually in my head decided to postpone it to maybe next year because I need to stop rereading books. I still want to maybe try Tower of Dawn. Besides the last Crescent City book, it's the only book by Sarah J. Maas that I haven't read. So I'm like, am I truly a real fan, a real stan if I don't read this book? Probably not. But my friend, who is so amazing, I love Sophie, we have the same name, by the way, but anyway, she apparently had 2 copies of the book, so she gave me her paperback copy that she didn't need. It's literally in pristine edition. She's had it for years, so this is now my copy. Do I think these covers are not cute? Yeah, I think this is a pretty cover, but I've always had the older copies because I got my box set of the series. I guess I bought them individually because I never had this one, but I got the books before they came out with the new covers that everyone on Book Talk now has. So I'm an OG fan. Yeah, that's right. I have the old copies, but I could not find an older edition of Tower of Dawn that wasn't like over $100 because they are now out of print. So I got lucky. My best friend, I love her. This is going to be added to my shelf. And when I eventually do my entire Throne of Glass series reread, I will start and finish this book in that time period. But like I said, 600 pages of a character I don't care about. Anyway, future me's problem. Good afternoon, besties. How are we? I hope everyone's doing great. It's currently Sunday, so a couple days since I've talked to you. I feel like this vlog actually is like pretty 50-50. I'm talking to you and I'm doing B-roll, which is funny because I'm usually like talking to you for the majority of the video and then just doing a little clips of B-roll now and then, but I'm getting better at shooting B-roll more consistently. Pat on the back for me. Anyway, I have lots of book updates to talk to you about. Let's talk about Daydream by Hannah Grace because I finished this book yesterday. I'm actually surprised when I'm telling you that I actually gave this 4 stars. I was not expecting that when I first started this book because like I said in my last update, I was not getting the vibes at the beginning of this book. Again, I will read a million pages of fantasy plot, but normal people living normal lives and just falling in love like normal people is apparently boring to me. Or at least it was the beginning of this book, but truly this book grew on me. And although I do think that it is about 50 to 100 pages too long, I did really end up enjoying especially the ending of this book. So Hallie is trying to write a book and Henry is trying to live up to being captain of the hockey team along with their other issues in their lives with like the main goals they're focusing towards. But Hallie has a toxic ex-boyfriend and her entire family doesn't know that they broke up and is really in love with Will, thinks that he's amazing even though he's really not good for her. She always is the one that is organizing everything and they have her tutor her little sister and they have her plan Christmas. Like there's always so much pressure put on her that she wants to relieve herself of. So this book is really a story of Hallie growing a stronger voice, growing independence from her family, from her ex-boyfriend, making friends, and finding Henry as a best friend. And as someone who really appreciates the blessing it is to have a really good friend and who is now saying goodbye to all of her friends as they go back to their various college towns, it is honestly really heartfelt and kind of punched me a little bit in the heart to read the ending of this book when I find Hallie with all of her new friends, and it's just like, it's hopeful. That's what it is, it's hopeful. On Henry's side, him and his growth in this book was just realizing that he is being put in situations in his life where he is just not feeling that that is what is right for him, and he needs to learn to, again, grow a voice and speak up for himself and know what is right for him and what is not. And their friendship, it's truly friends to lovers in this book because they are just best friends cover to cover. And I would usually get bored of that. And again, I do think that this is 50 to 100 pages too long. The middle part of this book was just studying, going to class, going to hockey games, going to parties. And I do think that Hannah Grace writes college kids very well. I've said this before about her writing as a college kid myself. I think it's very accurate to how we think and talk and act, but I also think that in the grand scheme of things, it's a little too long for the amount of plot that was in this. Although I stand by that, like it was just sweet, wholesome. I can't complain. I truly can't. And it has a lot of heartfelt moments in it that I didn't get in other books that I've read recently. So this stands out among my contemporary romances recently. And yeah, 4 stars, and very, very happy that I have officially completed this off of my list. So I think at this point, we started the video with 18 series. I'm now at 16 series, which not much progress, but it is progress, and I'm happy for that. Speaking of progress being made, I decided, because I was influenced by one of my favorite creators, Mariana. She read the Bratva Bride series, or whatever that series is called. I'll put the first book here on the screen, the picture. She read the entire series, or everything that's out so far, in a reading vlog that she posted like a day or 2 ago. And oh my god, watching her TikToks and watching this reading vlog, I wanted to know the hype so bad. So I got it on my Kindle. It's on KU and I started reading it. Is it starting another series and the exact opposite of what this video is supposed to be? Yeah, it is. But I figured we might as well like net zero this whole thing by starting another book at the same time. And also, coincidentally, this book is on my August TBR, which is also great because I've read 2 books so far this month that haven't been on the TBR. So I decided to pick up Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. It is the shortest out of the Crowns of Nyaxia books so far, and this follows Misha. I read or reread books 1 and 2 in this series in June and July, gave them both 5 stars. It's so good. And so I really, really want to read this, and I've been so excited to read this, but I have also been putting it off a little bit because I've heard very mixed things about it. Some people think this is just as good as books 1 and 2. Some people think it was a big disappointment and a big slog to get through. So I'm crossing my fingers that I really, really enjoy it. Now, unfortunately, at the beginning of this video, it was like a week a few days ago. Book 2 I thought was coming out in September, had not come out yet. But then I went to the bookstore with my friends a couple days ago and it was out on the shelves. I was like, wait, did this come out already? Turns out it came out on like August 5th. So I was just like, oh, book 4 is out and I'm reading book 3. So is this finishing a series? Unfortunately, no. I'm just gonna be further along in the series. But out of everything on my list right now, this is what was intriguing me the most. I'm gonna read the back. It says, in the descent to the underworld, a bride of the sun must choose between the light of her redemption or a dark dark love that defies the gods themselves. Oh my goodness. So they literally go to the underworld. That seems so interesting to me. Why are people hating on this book? That sounds so good. Hello, it says, in a secret meeting, her sun god commands her to help Azar in his mission, only to betray him by killing the god of death. This literally sounds incredible. Why do people not like this book? I'm actually scared, but I'm gonna read it anyway. I have a bone to pick, pun intended, with Conan Gray because Wishbone released last night and oh my god. The parasocial relationship that I have with this artist it's totally okay. No, it's actually insane though, because the way that he built up to this album with the music videos that released and like the 3 sequential stories put together and how we were all rooting so hard for Wilbrand and then the end of the album. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's actually fine. And also, Dominic Fike also released music last night and he's posting an entire album next week. So like my artists, they're blessing me. They're blessing me. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I've needed new music for so long now and is my heart broken? Yeah, it's actually in 2 pieces after finishing the entire album of Wishbone. But also, Your Honor, I love Conan and I love Dominic and I'm so excited. Okay. Anyway, we're here to talk about books, not music. But I had to mention because if y'all haven't listened to these albums, oh my god, listen to them. That's the best news I have for you today though, actually, because unfortunately I have been in a temporary, I wouldn't even say reading slump. I've just had a rough time these past couple of days. I haven't spoken to you in like 4 days. I can't remember last time I was in this vlog. I also may have already worn this shirt in this vlog because it's been like over 2 weeks that I've been filming now. Who even knows at this point? Let's talk about books, okay? Because I am halfway through 2 books at the moment and I have been halfway through for like 3 days now. Also, pause. I think I mentioned maybe in the last clip that I was reading a mafia book. Did I bring that up in this vlog? I may have. Long story short, I Sophie NF'd it. It's not the mood for me right now. We'll come back to her later, okay? Obviously for this video, I've been supposed to be reading Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent, and I have been reading it. I'm actually currently about 50% the way through. I'm like 47% of the way through. I have thoughts, and they're not all great thoughts. I'm really, really disappointed by my reaction to this book because I wanted literally only the best for this book, but it truly has just been a little disappointing for me, and I'm starting to understand the critiques that I was seeing about this book, which I really wanted to dissuade, but some of them are correct. So let me step back for a second. Since I'm now halfway, I can explain to you more of the plot that I didn't know when I started this book, but this follows our main girl, Misha, who is a side character from books 1 and 2. At the end of book 2, she kind of separates from the main characters and goes off on her own little separate journey, and that's what this next duology is about. I can't even say like where she starts the journey because that is a spoiler kind of for book 1 and like where she's at and why, but let's just say that she is put in this situation where she now needs to travel to the underworld with this guy that she's just met named Azar. I always like change the name of the way that I say it in my head and it's just inconsistent, but anyway, let's say Azar. That sounds nice. So Misha and Azar have to travel to the underworld to complete this quest that you find out about, and honestly, interesting how it ties into book 1. I like the quest that they're doing. I love the concept of this book. The idea of a trip to the underworld also reminds me of House of Hades from Percy Jackson series, which I love that book. So like in theory, this plot is amazing. I loved Misha as a character. I love seeing her in a new book. There's also a ghost dog in this, kind of, and I'm like, that's so cute, right? All things are checking the boxes technically that they should be checking, but although the concept and the theory is there, the execution is not there for me, and I'm trying to figure out why, because truly Carissa Broadbent can write. Her writing is always beautiful. It's always so well done. She always has well fleshed out characters. I've read 3 books by her, by the way, besides this, and that's what I'm basing my opinion off of, and I think that she's truly one of my favorite fantasy authors ever, which is why I'm confused that this book is not hitting for me, and I'm like, what is falling short for me? Like, let's pinpoint exactly why it's not hitting. And I think the first reason is that this book is a little shorter than the other ones. It's like 400 pages compared to her usual 500, 600 in length. And I honestly think that she maybe cut out a little too much from this book to make it this short. I was first praising this book for being a shorter fantasy, but in order to be a shorter fantasy, you have to complete a full world building section, full plot, full characters. Like, there's a lot to tackle in a fantasy book that you need to do in a short amount of time. So I love when authors can do it well in 400 pages, but I think that Carissa needs a little more to flesh out this story. I understand the plot, but the characters are lacking for me. Misha, I understand her because of book 1 and 2, but I am missing something that is connecting me to her as much as I loved Rain and Araya. And then Azur, the love interest here, or I assume is a love interest, we haven't really gotten that part yet, but I mean, it's Carissa Broadbent, they're gonna fall in love. He is so flat for me. He is dark and haunted and closed off 100%, and I get that he's probably going to open up more as the book goes on, but I don't have anything to grasp onto. I don't know even a little bit about him to make me intrigued. It's just missing. And I don't even know what I would have wanted her to add, but it's just not there. And then we also have 2 other companions. There is, oh, I even forgot their name. That's how much they mean to me. What are their names? Elias and Chandra. Those are the 2 names of the other 2 characters that are going into the underworld with them. And like I said, I don't care about them at all. In fact, they're a nuisance to me because I'm like, why are they here? We meet them very, very soon before they leave on the trip. They seem like they have absolutely zero development. They have no point. I'm like, why are they even here? They're just nuisances. They're not helping. They're making things more difficult to keep track of 4 people and not 2. Who are they? Why are they here? That makes no sense. In concept, great. Execution, not great. And because of that, I have been really slogging through this so slowly. It's been 4 or 5 days and I've only gotten through 174 pages. I'm missing something, and I am really sad that this is what's happening. And it's also not a terrible book, by the way. I'm still loving the writing. I think that the story is great. I think the idea is there and it definitely can improve throughout the rest of this book, but as of right now, it's just boring me and it's going very slowly, and I hope so hard that book 4 in this series brings me back to the same caliber as books 1 and 2 were, because they're both 5 stars for me. Now, because I have been slowly slogging through this, I actually had to drive downtown a couple days ago, which is like a 45-minute drive there and 45 back, so long drive, and I want to listen to an audiobook in the car. So this book I'm not actually vlogging for this vlog or for any other vlog, but I wanted to mention it because it is a very highly anticipated book that you guys really want me to read. Now, unfortunately, this book is starting a new series. So similar to how I was with the Mafia book, which I didn't actually start because I didn't complete the book, but this book that I'm also in the middle of reading is counteracting the progress we're making with this right now, because I'm going to be adding another list to my series to continue list on Goodreads with this one, but it's also on my TBR for the month. I think it's still technically a productive read. The book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I know everyone adores this book and wants me to read it so bad. I get comments about it all the time, so here it is. I'm reading this book. I'm halfway through this one as well, actually just a teeny bit over halfway. I'm on page 205 out of 380. I'm not going to say too much about my thoughts about this one because it's not for this vlog. I will say that this one is the opposite though of Songbird in the Heart of Stone. This is a great concept with meh execution. This concept to me is pretty boring, but the execution is pretty good. So it's like the opposite, you know? As a person who doesn't really love, not that I don't like thrillers, I haven't really read a lot of them, so I guess I can't really say that. I need to get more into it to really determine my thoughts on it, but in general, the idea of reading a mystery thriller does not intrigue me. I feel like I'm going to be bored when I pick them up, so I'm trying to give them their fair shot. Keeping my hopes high for this one and really crossing my fingers that this one gets better. These are the 2 that I've been kind of slowly working through for the past like 4 days, and this is progress. If I literally hadn't picked up the second one, I probably would have been finished by this one by now because I'm like halfway through both and they're pretty much the exact same length. That's where I'm at with both of these. So by the time that I talk to you next, I hopefully will have finished Songbird in the Heart of Stone and I'll have my final thoughts. But let's just hope that it gets better, because I honestly want to be hooked. I really want to be hooked, but I'm simply not hooked. So here's hoping, okay? Here's hoping. I'm actually disgusted, because I hate him. so confused. I'm so confused. I knew something bad was gonna happen. That's devastating. Oh my god. We're not okay. We're not okay. Hi, how are we? Good morning. It's currently Tuesday, August, not that it's really that important, but it's the 19th of August, so hi. I have book updates for you, and to finish out this vlog, yesterday you actually watched me finish The Songbird and the Heart of Stone yesterday evening. Consider me converted because this was so good. I'm actually so thankful. Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because this was, especially the ending, was so good. Told you in my last update that I was really struggling with this, and I still stand by that. The beginning of this book / middle was rough to get into. And this book has problems for sure. I'm not trying to dissuade that, but the ending, y'all saw my reaction. You know how I was feeling yesterday. I was going through it and I immediately need the next one. I know it's out, but like I want the paperback version, not the hardback, and it comes out in the beginning of September. So I know it's stupid to say I'm waiting for a certain version of the book, but like look at the rest of this series, right? This is books 1, 2, and 3, and they're all annotated and they're all the same height and they all match, and I need book 4 to also be like this and not be a hardback. So anyway, I think it's just super satisfying to see all my little annotations for literally the entire series, because these got to be one of my most marked up books ever. I mean, I will show you, I'll put an overlay on here of a flip through of Songbird and the Heart of Stone so you can see all my annotations in this book. I feel like every other page there was something, which is funny because at the beginning of this, again, I was not enjoying myself. I was having struggles with it, and I still stand by that. The beginning of this, the very beginning, the first couple chapters are very fast paced and you're like, oh, okay, we're getting into it. And then once they finally get to starting to travel into the underworld and they go through all the different like levels with the dog named Luce and the 2 side characters who I actually despise, that's when it gets so boring. And that's what I was stuck in for days, because it's just like, okay, they're walking and they're doing a little bit of bickering and we're doing a little bit of fighting wraiths, and it's repetitive and it's boring and I want to go to sleep. And that's why I was like, Carissa babe, where is your writing? What's going on? Because you are not like this. Talking to the author who I don't know, but I'm like, from your past books, like this is not how you write. But literally a day after I filmed that last clip talking to you guys, the book kind of took a turn. Let's just say that a couple things happened. Number 1, those side characters that I really and truly still hate. Ow, wait, my hair is stuck. No. Ow. Okay, sorry. I got stuck in my necklace. Those side characters that I really hated. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that they have left the picture, and thank God. They weren't even like the villains, they weren't the bad guys necessarily in this book, they were just boring me to tears, and for that reason they're almost worse than the villains in this book. Second thing that happened, the romance really ramped up around the halfway point, and I was eating up the crumbs. It was like the tension, the yearning, it was so good, and I'm like, Misha, I love you, I've been loving you, I need a reason to love Azar. I probably am pronouncing his name differently than I have in every other clip in this video. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, but I'm gonna say Azar right now. And then, third thing that happened was we got backstory. We got context for his story, more of her story. A lot of things are being explained. I still want to delve more into their backstories, their histories, their traumas, and I think that book 2 will do that because, again, they're sets of duologies, so the next book is also following the same couple in their story. But even though I'm still craving more, we got a lot. And those 3 things, like, happening very quick succession immediately after I turned the camera off, made me get so interested in this book again. So the last 50% was just like rolling faster towards the end of the book, which was incredible. It was so sad. It was so sad. You saw me yesterday. I was just in awe. I was just like, you're kidding me. You're actually kidding me. It was like twist after twist after twist. And the very ending of this, I was not expecting at all. I didn't know what I really was expecting. Actually, that's not true. I had a theory that didn't come true. And honestly, I'm glad that it didn't. Something else and probably equally bad happened, but it's different. And then the person that appears at the very end of this book, and then the situation that both Azar and Misha are in at the end of this book to start the next one, I'm like, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to fix this? But I know Carissa, she's going to pull it together, and I'm so excited about it. So, last thing. This might be a little bit spoilery, so I'm not going to speak of anything very specific, but if you are, number one, triggered by themes of not even sexual assault, but not so crudely that, I suppose, it's more just like grooming and predatory, sexual, that kind of stuff. If that bothers you, if you can't read that or if you can't hear about it, skip to the timestamp here on the screen. And then also I'm going to be talking a little bit about a character in this book. So I'll talk vaguely, but if you don't want any spoilers about it, skip to this timestamp as well. Okay, I'll give you just a second. But again, I'm not going to say anything spoilery. I'm just going to say something that might vaguely give you plot that I didn't know when starting this book. So make that decision how you will. I'm going to talk about it right now. Okay, starting now. Throughout the entire book, I was getting vibes about a certain character, very bad vibes. And it was so subtle that I thought I was making it up. But towards the end of this book, we truly see the full background of what's happening with this character, what's been happening, and it was nasty. Absolutely nasty. The grooming, the predatory nature of this character, and how that affected Misha in her life. It's subtle. It is not explicitly described, but you know when you're reading it, you just know. And I'm getting goosebumps right now. It just makes me want to vomit. I feel so much for her because of the situation that she's being put in her life, and because of the things that she's gone through. We see this and we see why she is the way that she is, and it makes so much sense. Her character choices in the past books, in this book, and the kind of person that she is despite going through what she goes through is incredible. So I would just say, if talks about stuff like that bothers you, there is flowery poetic language, but it is talking about that, in this book. And I think that just brought in another layer of depth that is so saddening, but it was also necessary to understand where she comes from, to see where she is in this book. So that's that on this book. I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense any longer. I gave this book 4 stars. I was really thinking about a 3-star in the beginning of this book, which was so sad for me because I love Carissa. I haven't read anything by hers below a 4.5 before, so giving this a 3-star was actually heartbreaking to me, but the ending pulled this together. It lifted the book up so much. The last half of this was so good, and it really deserves a 4-star. So, is it perfect? No. It does have its problems? Yes. Do I think the beginning should have been a little bit rewritten? Yes. But it redeemed itself. Consider me converted. This was incredible. So, with this book done, we have finally finished today's vlog, like 2 weeks later after I started filming. I know I mentioned A Good Girl's Guide to Murder in this vlog. I'm still reading this. I'm still halfway through, and you will hear all my updates in the wrap-up, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that reading wrap-up coming in a couple weeks. Don't worry, you will hear my full thoughts, just not in today's video. Sorry to keep you in suspense. But the 3 books that we did finish in today's video: Jasad Crown, which was a 5-star. This was incredible. It got me from 18 to 17 series. And then we read Daydream by Hannah Grace, which is a 4-star. I really came around on this one, and also got me down from 17 to 16 series. Lastly, I read and annotated The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, another 4-star. This technically is still a continued series, so I didn't cross a series off my list. I still have 16 series left to read, but it did catch me up. Progress is progress, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. To be honest, these 3 books averages to a 4.3, right? I have a 5-star and 2 4-stars. Good reading weeks, if you ask me. So I hope y'all enjoyed this reading vlog. As always, subscribe, and I will see you next week for a interesting video. It's a new kind of video for me, but I hope you like it. So subscribe, and I'll see you then.